How older men should flirt back. Keep it classy, not creepy. The 10 rules. Hello and welcome. If you are a man over 40 who feels that the world of dating and social connection has shifted beneath your feet, leaving you uncertain of the rules, then you have arrived at the right place. This is not another list of quick tips or cheesy pickup lines. This is part 1 of a definitive masterclass, a deep psychological dive into the art of mature flirtation. The title of our series is How Older Men Should Flirt Back. Keep it classy, not creepy. In our last conversation, we touched upon the core ideas. Today, we begin our in-depth exploration. We are going to deconstruct, analyze, and master the first 3 foundational rules. These are not just rules of engagement. They are principles of human connection rooted in neuroscience, social psychology, and the timeless art of being a gentleman. The goal is to eliminate the fear of being misunderstood, the anxiety of saying the wrong thing, and the risk of coming across as anything less than the high-value, charismatic man you are. We will replace that uncertainty with a powerful, quiet confidence, a confidence that comes not from ego, but from genuine understanding. So, for the next section of our masterclass, silence your phone, pour yourself a drink, and prepare to absorb the foundational pillars that will change every social interaction you have from this day forward. Let us begin. Chapter 1. Rule number 1. The Reciprocity Principle. The Art of Social Calibration. The first master rule, the very bedrock upon which all classy engagement is built, is the Reciprocity Principle. This principle dictates that your initial response should always be a calibrated match to the energy you receive. It is the most crucial and most often violated rule in mature social dynamics. True confidence is not displayed by overwhelming a woman shimba with attention. It is displayed through your masterful ability to read and reflect her social signals with precision and grace. The psychological neuroscientific root. Social bids, mirror neurons, and the norm of reciprocity. This isn't just politeness. It's deeply rooted in our neurobiology. Relationship expert Dr. John Gottman calls small social signals, a glance, a smile, a brief comment, social bids. These are low-risk invitations for connection. When a woman makes a bid, her subconscious is not asking for a life story. It's conducting a safety check. It's asking, is this person socially intelligent? Can they read my cues? Are they safe to engage with? Your calibrated response is the answer. When you match her energy, you are activating what neuroscientists call mirror neurons. These are brain cells that fire both when we perform an action and when we see someone else perform that same action. By subtly mirroring her smile or the duration of her gaze, you are literally creating a feeling of rapport and understanding in her brain on a subconscious level. It sends the powerful message, I am like you, I understand you, we are in sync. This ties into the broader norm of reciprocity in social psychology. We are hardwired to repay in kind what we receive. By matching her small gesture, you complete the initial social contract, creating a balanced, comfortable foundation from which a real conversation can grow. Breaking this norm by responding with disproportionately high energy creates a social debt she never asked for, triggering feelings of pressure and a desire to retreat. The common pitfall, the overeager escalator. The most common and damaging mistake is embodying the persona of the overeager escalator. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a man named David, a good man sitting at a cafe. A woman across the room is waiting for her friend, idly glancing around. Her eyes meet David's for a fleeting second, and she gives a small, polite, almost automatic closed-mouth smile. David's heart leaps. He interprets this minimal social bid as a full-throated green light. He breaks into a huge, toothy grin, gives a theatrical wink, and then, to make matters worse, he immediately stands up and starts walking towards her table. What does the woman feel? She doesn't feel flattered. She feels a jolt of alarm. Her polite, subconscious social signal has been misinterpreted as a sexual invitation. The calibration is broken. The situation now feels unsafe and high pressure. She didn't agree to this escalation. David, in his eagerness, has shown a lack of social awareness, and he has transformed a moment of potential connection into a moment of profound awkwardness that she now has to manage. He has failed the first test. The female perspective, why this works. From her perspective, a man who masters reciprocity is immediately placed in a higher category. When you match her energy, you are non-verbally communicating several incredibly attractive things. I respect your autonomy. You are signaling that she is in control of the pace of the interaction. You are not an agenda-driven man who is going to force a connection. I am not desperate. Your calm, measured response shows that your self-worth isn't dependent on her attention. You are a man with options, comfortable in his own skin. I am socially intelligent. You prove that you can read subtle cues, which is a massive indicator of emotional intelligence and a key trait women look for in a long-term partner. You are safe. In-depth. Actionable steps. The social calibration protocol. Protocol 1. Master the mirror and match technique. The glance. Time it. If her gaze lasts for a count of 1001, your return gaze lasts for the same. Not shorter, which signals disinterest, and certainly not longer, which signals intensity. The smile. Analyze the smile. Is it a tight-lipped, polite acknowledgement? Return exactly that. Is it a warmer smile that reaches her eyes, a Duchenne smile? You have permission to return that in kind. Match the emotional temperature. The posture. If her body language is open and relaxed, keep yours open and relaxed. If she is more reserved, don't adopt an overly dominant or expansive posture. Mirror her general physical vibe. Vocal tonality. In conversation, match her volume and pace. If she speaks softly and slowly, a loud, rapid-fire response will feel jarring. Tune your voice to her frequency. Protocol 2. Implement the plus 10% escalation rule. After you have successfully matched her initial bid, you can then gently escalate, but only by a tiny fraction. Example: she smiles, you smile back. The reciprocity loop is complete. Your plus 10% escalation is a small, slow nod of acknowledgement a few seconds later. That is it. You have now gently passed the conversational ball back to her, inviting her to make the next move without any pressure. Example: she makes a brief comment. You match it. Your plus 10% escalation is to hold eye contact for one extra beat after you finish speaking, with a slight, inquisitive look. This non-verbally invites her to elaborate if she wishes. Protocol 3. The incidental approach. If you decide to approach after a successful exchange of bids, your movement must be calibrated. Do not walk a straight, direct line to her table like a heat-seeking missile. Instead, make your approach seem incidental. Get up to get a napkin, stretch your legs, or walk towards the exit, and let your path happen to intersect with hers. Your opening line should be delivered with a casual, over-the-shoulder glance, not a full frontal, squared-up confrontation. This dramatically lowers the social pressure and makes it easy for her to engage or disengage comfortably. Chapter 2. Rule number 2. Compliment the choice, not the vessel. Now, though that you've established a foundation of calibrated respect, we move to the next crucial step, the compliment. Most men get this catastrophically wrong. Our second rule will elevate you from the crowd and make you unforgettable. Compliment a deliberate choice she has made, not the physical vessel she inhabits. Any man can see that she's beautiful. A man of substance sees her. the psychological root, the hierarchy of needs, the power of being seen. This rule taps directly into Abraham Maslow's famous hierarchy of needs. Compliments on physical appearance, you have a great smile, cater to a lower, more basic level of ego and esteem. They are nice, but not profound. However, a compliment on a choice, a book she's reading, her unique style, a witty comment she made, appeals to the highest levels of the pyramid. Self-esteem, feeling competent and respected for your mind, and self-actualization, being recognized for your unique identity and potential. When you compliment a choice, you are validating her entire life's worth of experiences that led to that decision. You are saying, I see the thoughtful, intelligent, creative person behind the eyes, not just the eyes themselves. This creates a powerful feeling of being seen, which is one of the most intoxicating and intimate experiences a human can have. It communicates that you are not just attracted to her form, but intrigued by her soul. The common pitfall, the generic attribute trap. Let's observe the generic attribute trap in action with another man. Let's call him Tom. Tom sees a woman at a party who he finds stunning. He approaches and with a nervous smile says, I just have to say, you are the most beautiful woman in this room. What happens next? She will likely give a polite, practiced thank you and then look for the nearest exit. Why? Tom, though well-intentioned, has made several critical errors. He has made the interaction solely about her looks, implicitly ignoring her intellect, humor, and personality. He has made her feel like a prize to be won, not a person to be known. He has used a line she has likely heard dozens of times, making him completely forgettable. He fell into the trap of believing that the intensity of the physical compliment would equal the intensity of her interest. The opposite is true. It signaled a lack of depth and originality on his part and made her feel like an object, not a participant. The female perspective. Why this works. A choice-based compliment is a psychological masterstroke. From her perspective, it feels completely different. It lands not as a pickup line, but as a genuine, elite-level observation. It feels earned. She didn't earn her eye color, but she did earn her PhD. She did cultivate her sense of style. She did choose to read that challenging book. Complimenting an earned quality shows respect for her effort and agency. It bypasses her defenses. A physical compliment can sometimes trigger her player detection system. A compliment about her mind or her taste, however, is so rare and respectful that it often bypasses these defenses entirely. It's disarming because it feels authentic. It makes her uniquely special. Telling her she has beautiful eyes lumps her in with millions of other women. Telling her that her perspective on a particular film is fascinating and unique makes her feel singular, intelligent, and deeply interesting. In-depth, actionable steps. The specific observation protocol. Protocol 1. Use the expanded CHOICE framework. Train your mind to be a choice detective. Actively scan for details that reveal personality. C. Character. I saw how you helped that person who dropped their papers. In a world where everyone is in their own bubble, that level of kindness really stands out. H. Hobby. Interest. Excuse me, I couldn't help but notice your sketching in that notebook. It's rare to see someone practicing a real art form these days. Your dedication is impressive. O. Opinion. I overheard you talking about urban planning. The way you articulated that point was incredibly clear and compelling. You obviously know your subject. Curtan, intellect, humor. Your laugh is fantastic, but it's the clever, dry wit that causes it that's truly brilliant. You have a very sharp mind. C. Clothing, style, the deeper cut. Go beyond the object. Anyone can buy a nice jacket, but the way you combined it with that scarf and those boots, That shows a real artist's eye. You have a fantastic command of texture and color. E. Energy, vibe. I don't mean to be forward, but you have an incredibly focused and determined energy about you. It's very compelling. Protocol 2. Perfect the delivery and tonality. The delivery is as important as the words. The curious observer. Tone. Your tone should not be one of a suitor trying to flatter. It should be one of a genuinely curious person who has just noticed something interesting. Speak a little more slowly than usual, as if you're formulating the thought in real time. The look-away technique. Deliver the compliment, maintain eye contact for a second to ensure she's received it, and then gently look away for a moment, at your drink, at the bar. This removes pressure and makes it feel less like a demand for a positive response. Protocol 3. The compliment and question bridge. Never let a compliment be a dead end. It is a key to a door. Your follow-up question is what walks you through it. Compliment. You have a fantastic eye for style. Bridge question. What's the philosophy behind how you put things together? Compliment. That was a brilliant point you made. Bridge question. How did you become so knowledgeable on that topic? Chapter 3. Rule number 3. Be a story seeker, not an interrogator. You have established rapport and delivered a masterful compliment. A conversation has begun. Now you face the greatest challenge, keeping it alive and making it meaningful. This brings us to the third foundational rule. You must become a story seeker, not an interrogator. The goal of conversation is not data extraction, it is emotional connection. A man who can skillfully and gently elicit a woman's stories is a man she will never forget. The psychological route, self-disclosure, vulnerability, and the RUS, storytelling brain. Psychologically, the process of forming a relationship is built on escalating levels of self-disclosure. We share small, safe details first, and as trust is built, we share more personal, vulnerable information. Open-ended questions are the safest and most respectful way to invite this self-disclosure. You are not demanding information. You are creating a safe space for it to be volunteered. Our brains are literally built for narrative. Neuroeconomist Paul J. Zach's research shows that engaging, character-driven stories cause our brains to produce both cortisol, which focuses attention, and oxytocin, the empathy and bonding hormone. When you ask a question that prompts a story, you are essentially becoming the director of a neurochemical event in her brain that fosters connection and makes the interaction memorable and pleasurable. A simple data point question, "Where are you from?" does not do this. A story-seeking question, "What's the most charmingly strange thing about the town you grew up in?" does. The common pitfall, the conversational fact-checker. Let's witness the failure of the conversational fact-checker. A man, we'll call him Frank, is on a date. He thinks he's doing well because he's asking a lot of questions. But look at the transcript. Frank: "So, you're a lawyer?" Woman: "Yes, I am." Frank: "Do you work downtown?" Woman: "Mostly, yes." Frank: "How long have you been doing that?" Woman: "About 6 years." Frank: "Do you like Iban?" Woman: "It has its moments." This is not a conversation, it is an audit. It is a dry, lifeless exchange of data. Frank is putting all the pressure on himself to keep coming up with the next question, and he's forcing her into a passive role of just providing answers. There is no emotion, no narrative, no spark. The woman feels like she's at a job interview. The interaction is devoid of the oxytocin-rich experience of shared stories, and the connection withers on the vine. The female perspective. Why this works. When a man becomes a skilled story seeker, it's a game changer for her. He is actually curious about me. The quality of your questions signals the quality of your interest. Asking about her stories, her whys, and her feelings proves that you are interested in her as a unique human being, not just trying to qualify her as a potential partner based on a checklist of facts. I feel so interesting around him. A great conversationalist doesn't prove how interesting he is. He makes the other person feel fascinating. By asking questions that allow her to tell her best stories and share her passions, she will associate that wonderful feeling of being witty, engaging, and profound with you. This is effortless. Because you are prompting stories and not just facts, the conversation builds on itself. It flows naturally. She doesn't feel the pressure of a rapid-fire interrogation and can relax, open up, and truly enjoy the connection that is being woven between you. In-depth, actionable steps. The Curiosity Protocol. Protocol 1. The Question Stem Upgrade. Eliminate do you, are you, have you from your initial questions. Upgrade to powerful story-seeking stems. What's the story behind your tattoo, your career choice, that trip? Tell me about a time when you felt truly passionate, you faced a huge challenge. What was it like to grow up there, learn that skill, work in that industry? How did you get into that hobby, that field of study? What fascinates you most about your work, this city, that subject? Protocol 2. The Echo and Inquire Technique. This is an advanced listening technique that proves you're not just waiting for your turn to talk. Listen to her entire answer without interrupting. Echo. Pick one key phrase or emotion she mentioned and gently repeat it back to her. For example, if she says, "It was exhilarating but also a bit terrifying," your response is, "Terrifying. What felt terrifying about it?" Inquire. Your follow-up question is now based directly on her words, showing you are deeply engaged. This creates a seamless conversational loop. Chapter 4. Rule number 4. Use humor that invites, not divides. Host. We now arrive at one of the most powerful and most dangerous tools in your arsenal. Humor. Laughter is a superpower. It can dissolve tension, create instant rapport, and flood the brain with pleasure chemicals. But when used incorrectly, it can build walls, create offense, and instantly kill attraction. This brings us to rule number 4. Your humor must always be a bridge that invites her in, not a weapon that divides or excludes. The psychological root. Benign violation theory. The neurochemistry of laughter. To understand what makes something funny, psychologists have developed the benign violation theory. It states that humor occurs when 3 conditions are met. 1. A situation is a violation of a norm or expectation. 2. The situation is perceived as benign or safe. And 3. Both perceptions occur simultaneously. This is why punching down, making jokes at the expense of someone with less power, isn't truly funny. The violation isn't benign, it's cruel. It's why sarcasm can be risky. If she doesn't know you well, she may not perceive the violation, your words, as benign, a joke, but as a genuine attack. In contrast, confident, self-deprecating humor is the gold standard because you are the target of the violation, making it completely safe and benign for her. When you successfully make her laugh, you are conducting a symphony in her brain. Laughter releases endorphins, the body's natural opiates, creating a feeling of euphoria. It also releases dopamine, the pleasure chemical, and oxytocin, the bonding hormone. You are literally using humor to make her feel good and to associate that good feeling with you. The common pitfall, the cynic, or the performative jester. Let's observe the pitfall through a man named Richard. Richard is intelligent and quick-witted, but his humor is exclusively sarcastic and cynical. On a date, the woman mentions she enjoys yoga. Richard smirks and says, "Oh, right. Overpriced stretching in a room full of people pretending to be spiritual sounds thrilling. He thinks he's being edgy and clever. But what did the woman just experience? Her genuine interest was met with a violation that was not benign. It was a judgment. Her wall immediately goes up. For the rest of the evening she feels defensive, as if anything she says might be turned into the butt of a cynical joke. Richard's attempt at humor didn't create a bridge. It dug a moat between them. He wasn't connecting, he was performing his cynical worldview, and it made the space feel unsafe for genuine expression. The female perspective. Why this works. From her perspective, a man who uses inviting, warm humor signals a wealth of attractive qualities. He is emotionally intelligent. He can read the room and knows what's appropriate. He doesn't need to put others down to feel big. He is humble and doesn't take himself too seriously. A man who can laugh at himself is confident. His ego isn't fragile. This is incredibly reassuring. He would be fun to be around. She subconsciously projects this into the future. A man with a light, positive sense of humor is someone who can navigate the stresses of life without becoming bitter. He is a source of joy, not a source of negativity. In-depth, actionable steps. The humor protocol. Protocol 1. Master confident self-deprecation. This is about gently poking fun at a small, relatable flaw, not a major insecurity. Good example. Relatable flaw, while looking at a complex menu. All right, this menu has more characters than a Russian novel. I'm going to need a minute to figure out the plot. Bad example. Insecurity. I'm just getting so old and slow I can't even read a menu anymore. The first is charming, the second is a cry for validation. The golden rule. Only ever make fun of things you are genuinely confident about. Poke fun at your terrible dancing because you're secure enough not to care. Protocol 2. Make the environment your comedic partner. This is the safest form of humor because it's inclusive. You are both in on the joke. Context. Art gallery. Standing in front of a very abstract piece of art. You lean in conspiratorially and say with a smile, I think my nephew made the exact same thing with spaghetti last week. We should see what the artist is charging. Context. Formal event. While eating a tiny fancy appetizer. This is delicious. I calculate that if I eat about 300 more of these, I'll have had a full meal. Protocol 3. The art of the playful misinterpretation. This is an advanced technique. It involves intentionally and playfully misinterpreting something she says in a low-stakes way. Example, she says, I'm really into gardening these days. I'm trying to get my roses to bloom. You can respond with a mock serious tone. Aha, so you're a master manipulator of nature, bending life to your will. I'm impressed and slightly intimidated. It's absurd, complimentary, and funny. Crucially, your tone and smile must make it 100% clear you are joking. Chapter 5. Rule number 5. Body language, the silent conversation. We communicate more through our bodies than we ever do with our words. Your posture, your gaze, your use of space. These are all part of a silent conversation that she is reading constantly. This brings us to rule number 5, arguably the most important for creating a feeling of safety. Your body language must project calm, grounded confidence, not predatory intensity. The psychological root, neuroception, limbic resonance, and proxemics. Our nervous systems are ancient and primal. Dr. Stephen Porges coined the term neuroception to describe the way our subconscious mind is constantly scanning our environment for cues of safety or danger, long before our conscious mind engages. Intense staring, sudden movements, or invading personal space can trigger her amygdala, the brain's fear center, flooding her with cortisol and putting her in a state of fight or flight. Conversely, your calm presence can actually calm her nervous system. This is called limbic resonance, the process by which our emotions and internal states can sync up with another person's. By maintaining a relaxed, open posture, you are non-verbally sending a powerful signal of safety that allows her nervous system to co-regulate with yours, making her feel relaxed and comfortable. The study of personal space, known as proxemics, teaches us that we have concentric circles of comfort. The intimate space, within 1.5 feet, is reserved for only our closest connections. Violating this boundary prematurely is a massive social error that signals a lack of respect for her autonomy. The common pitfall, the hunter or the space invader. Let's picture a man named Greg at a social mixer. He spots a woman he's interested in and approaches. His words are polite, but his body language is screaming aggression. He plants himself directly in front of her, airing his shoulders in a confrontational stance. He leans in close, forcing her to crane her neck back slightly. He uses an unbroken, intense hunter stare, thinking it projects confidence. The woman is now physically trapped. While Greg is talking about the weather, her neuroception is flashing red alerts. She feels cornered, her personal space has been violated, and his intense gaze feels predatory. She isn't hearing his words, she's plotting her escape route. Greg's body language, despite his polite intentions, single-handedly sabotaged the entire interaction by making her feel profoundly unsafe. The female perspective, why this works. A man who has mastered his body language is a man who has mastered himself. This is incredibly attractive to a woman. He is in control of his impulses. When you respect her personal space and keep your posture relaxed, it shows that you are not a slave to your desires. You are a man of discipline and self-control. I can relax around him. Your calm demeanor is a gift. It allows her to drop her guard, stop scanning for threats, and be fully present in the conversation. This feeling of relaxation is rare and valuable. He is confident, not arrogant. True confidence is quiet and expansive. It doesn't need to invade or intimidate. It is comfortable in its own space and grants others the same courtesy. Your body language becomes a testament to your secure internal foundation. In-depth, actionable steps. The presence protocol. Protocol 1. The open and angled stance. Never square up to a woman face-to-face in an initial interaction. It can feel confrontational. Instead, stand at a slight angle, with your torso and feet pointing about 45 degrees away from her. This is open and non-threatening. It gives her a clear exit path, which paradoxically makes her want to stay. Keep your arms uncrossed and your hands visible, e.g. to one hand in a pocket, the other holding a drink. Protocol 2. Master the triangle gaze and the slow blink. Instead of an intense, unbroken stare, soften your gaze. Let your eyes move in a slow, gentle triangle from one of her eyes to the other, then briefly down to her nose or mouth. It makes your gaze feel engaged, but not predatory. Furthermore, practice the slow blink. It is a subconscious signal of trust and relaxation used by mammals to show they are not a threat. Protocol 3. The respect the bubble rule. The intimate zone is earned, never taken. A good rule of thumb is the arm's length rule. If you can't comfortably extend your arm fully between you, you might be too close. Watch for her cues. If she leans back, takes a small step away, or crosses her arms, you have entered her bubble. Respect this signal immediately by taking a small step back yourself. Protocol 4. Use open palm hand gestures. When you talk, use your hands to gesture, but keep your palms open and facing upward or outward. This is a primal signal of honesty and trustworthiness. It shows you are not concealing a weapon. Avoid pointing, clenching your fists, or hiding your hands, as these can be perceived as aggressive or deceptive. Chapter 6. Rule number 6. Outcome. Independence. You are the prize. Host. This next rule is a profound internal shift. It is the core mindset from which all genuine confidence flows. It is the difference between asking for a woman's attention and deserving it. Rule number 6 is outcome. Independence. You must operate from the core belief that you are the prize, and your happiness is not dependent on the outcome of this single interaction. The psychological root. Attachment theory. The principle of least interest. This mindset is the real-world application of secure attachment from attachment theory. A man with a secure attachment style has high self-worth. He doesn't need external validation to feel complete. He wants a partner to share his already awesome life with, not to fix his insecurities or make him happy. This is incredibly attractive. Conversely, a man who needs her to like him is displaying anxious attachment. This needy energy is a red flag because it puts an unfair burden on her to manage his emotions. This also ties into the principle of least interest, which states that the party that is less invested in the outcome of a relationship has more power and is often perceived as more desirable. When you genuinely don't need the interaction to go well, it paradoxically makes you more magnetic. You are not seeking validation, you are determining if she is worthy of yours. The common pitfall, the validation seeker, the chameleon. Let's watch the validation seeker in action. A man named Kevin is on a date. The woman mentions she loves hiking. Kevin, who hates the outdoors, immediately says, "Oh, I love hiking. We should totally go sometime." She mentions she's a vegetarian. Kevin, a devoted carnivore, says, "That's amazing. I've been trying to eat less meat myself." Kevin thinks he's building rapport by being agreeable. He is actually annihilating his own identity in real time. He's a chameleon, changing his colors to match whatever he thinks she wants. A woman of substance will see through this instantly. She isn't looking for a mirror, she's looking for a man with his own opinions, passions, and a solid backbone. Kevin's agreeableness doesn't signal that he's nice. It signals that he has no core, and his lack of authenticity is deeply unattractive. The female perspective, why this works. A man who is outcome independent is a breath of fresh air. There is no pressure. Because he isn't seeking her validation, she is free to be herself. She doesn't have to worry about bruising his ego or letting him down. The interaction feels light, fun, and he must have a great life. His lack of neediness implies that he has a full, exciting life with friends, hobbies, and a mission. He is a man with his own world, and this makes her curious to see what that world is like. He has standards. A man who is outcome independent is not just trying to get a woman, he's trying to see if she is the right woman for him. He is interviewing her as much as she is interviewing him. This dynamic of mutual assessment is the foundation of a relationship between equals. In-depth, actionable steps. The You Are the Prize Mindset Protocol. Protocol 1. Define your mission. Your life's purpose cannot be to find a woman. Your purpose must be your own, your career, your creative passion, your physical fitness, your legacy. A woman is meant to be a wonderful partner on your journey, not the destination itself. Know your mission, live it daily. This is the ultimate source of genuine, non-needy confidence. Protocol 2. Practice polite disagreement. When she states an opinion you don't share, don't pretend to agree. Instead, express your differing view with warmth and curiosity. Example: she says, "I think modern art is pretentious." You can reply with a smile, "That's a totally valid take. For me, I find the chaos of it kind of exciting, but I can see why it feels that way." What kind of art does speak to you? You have held your ground while valuing her opinion and deepening the conversation. Protocol 3. The I must be going technique. Be the one to end the conversation first, especially if it's going well. This is a powerful demonstration of outcome independence. Script. You know, I am really enjoying this conversation, but I have to get back to my friends. I have an early start tomorrow. It was a real pleasure meeting you. This shows you have other priorities and a life you are accountable to. It creates immense intrigue. Protocol 4. The abundance mentality. There are millions of wonderful, intelligent, beautiful women in the world. This specific interaction with this specific woman is not your last and only chance at happiness. Adopt an abundance mentality. You are there to connect, have fun, and see what happens. If it doesn't work out, you will wish her well and move on with your fantastic life, knowing another great opportunity is just around the corner. Humor, body language, and mindset. These are not tactics, they are states of being. They are the external expression of a man who is internally secure, socially aware, and truly confident. Master these, and you will become a man whose presence is not only desired, but respected. Chapter 7. Rule number 7. The graceful exit strategy. Every good story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. The same goes for a flirtatious conversation. Knowing how and when to end it is just as important as knowing how to start it. This brings us to rule number 7. Have a graceful exit strategy, whether it's a yes or a no. Scenario 1. Asking for the number, the yes path. The key here is to be direct, confident, and low pressure. Don't meander. Wait for a high point in the conversation when you're both laughing or have found a strong point of connection. Don't say, I was wondering if I could maybe, possibly, get your number. This sounds timid and uncertain. Instead, say, you know, I'm really enjoying this conversation, but I have to get going. I'd love to continue it over a drink sometime. Would you be open to exchanging numbers? Let's break down why this works. I'm really enjoying this conversation. It's a sincere affirmation, but I have to get going. This shows you have a life and you're not going to linger indefinitely. It respects her time and your own. It also creates a bit of urgency. There are two main scenarios for an exit. One where you're asking for her number and one where you're simply ending the conversation pleasantly. I'd love to continue it. It's a clear statement of intent. Would you be open to? This is the crucial part. It's a low-pressure question. It gives her complete control. She can easily say yes or no without feeling cornered. If she says yes, great. Put her number in your phone, smile and say, fantastic, I'll text you tomorrow. It was a real pleasure meeting you. And then you leave. Don't linger. End on that high. Scenario 2. Reading the no and bowing out gracefully. This is where true class is demonstrated. You will face rejection. Everyone does. How you handle it says everything about your character. A no can be direct, no thank you, or indirect, one-word answers, checking her phone, looking away. You must be attuned to both. If she gives you any sign of disinterest, you deploy the graceful exit immediately. Your line is simple and respectful. Well, it was really nice chatting with you. Enjoy the rest of your evening day. And then you turn and you walk away. No bitterness, no sarcasm like, fine, your loss. No asking, why? You simply accept her decision with dignity. Why is this so important? First, it respects her autonomy, which is paramount. Second, it leaves her with a positive impression of you as a secure, respectful man. You never know when your paths might cross again. Leaving a good final impression is always the right move. Third, it protects your own self-respect. You are not a beggar for attention. Knowing how to leave on your own terms and with your dignity intact is one of the most powerful and classy moves a man can make. Chapter 8. Rule number 8. Leverage your life story without giving a lecture. 40-30. 4400 pass. As an older man, your greatest asset is your experience. You've lived. You've seen things, learned things, succeeded, failed, and gotten back up. This is your treasure chest. Rule number 8 is about how to use it. Leverage your life story without giving a lecture. There's a fine line between sharing fascinating experiences and sounding like you're droning on about the good old days. The goal is to sprinkle in anecdotes that reveal your character, not to recite your resume. Think of your stories as seasoning, not the main course. They should be used to illustrate a point or connect with something she has said. Let's say she mentions she's always wanted to try sailing. The wrong way, the lecture. Oh, sailing. Let me tell you, I spent the entire summer of '98 sailing the Greek Isles. We started in Athens, then we hit Mykonos, which wasn't as commercial as it is now, and then Santorini. The winds there are called the Meltemi, and they can be quite treacherous. You've turned the conversation into a monologue. The right way, the story. That's fantastic. There's nothing quite like it. It reminds me of one time I was sailing near Catalina Island and a pod of dolphins started following the boat. It was one of the most magical things I've ever seen. What is it about sailing that intrigues you? See the difference? The second example is a short, evocative story with a sensory detail, dolphins. It demonstrates you have experience without bragging. Most importantly, you end by turning the question back to her. You used your story to enhance the conversation and connect with her dream, not to hijack the spotlight. Your stories should reveal attractive qualities. A story about a travel mishap can show your resilience and sense of humor. A story about a project you built can show your passion and competence. A story about a time you helped someone can show your kindness and empathy. Don't just talk about your career successes or how much money you've made. That can come across as bragging. Talk about the experiences that shaped you. Be a storyteller, not a historian. This makes you a three-dimensional, fascinating person, not just an older guy. Chapter 9, Rule number 9. Understand the modern context. The world has changed a lot since we were in our 20s, and that's a good thing. Social dynamics have evolved, and it's our responsibility as men to evolve with them.